So let's get right to it. Let's get to what Kevin Demoff said in his press conference, his Zoom press conference that he had prior to Super Bowl 56, because I am incredibly energized about what I'm hearing. I am so excited about what he said and what it means for the future of this team that I can barely contain myself. It's terrific, terrific news. Now, what has been, other than the Rams going to the Super Bowl, what has been the topic around this team for the last month, give or take, other than Matthew Stafford in the playoffs and the football stuff? What has been the overarching topic for the last month? The fans. And what happened when San Francisco came here for week 18, and what happened in the NFC Championship game? That the fans took over, San Francisco 49er fans took over SoFi Stadium. That the place was at best a 50-50 mix, and probably a little bit more 49er fans than there were LA Rams fans. Kevin Demoff was asked about that at his press conference, and I absolutely loved what he said. I'm going to play a couple of different cuts from you for it along the way. But one of the things that he mentioned that I thought that was so good is that this is not a one-year process. Okay, I want you to take a listen to this cut.
You cannot get to be at the pinnacle of this market by having one great season. You get to the pinnacle of this market by having great season after great season, after great decade, after great decade, and building fans and generations of fans with that. And that only comes with sustained success and sustained investment in the market, in the community, in schools, building relationships. That's not overnight.
Okay, what does that mean to you? Because what I'm hearing from that is very, very simple. What this means is he understands that this is a process. And what he said in that cut is incredibly important, because he's saying we're not just going to show up here and give you a good product and go to the Super Bowl 2 times in 4 years and then put our feet up on the desk and wait for everybody to become a Rams fan. That's not how this city works, okay? It's a very unique sports market here in Los Angeles. I've lived in a handful of other places, but I've never seen anything like this. I've traveled across a good portion of this country and attended sporting events in other places, talked to sports fans in other places. This place is unique because, first of all, it's a city of 20 million people. So you're going to have people from all over the place. And just like if you are a Rams fan and you move to Phoenix, you don't become a Cardinals fan overnight. You're a Rams fan. And maybe your kids might become Cardinals fan, but it takes some time, right? This market is about being good. It's about having a certain style. It's about putting out a product that is aesthetically pleasing in an environment that is aesthetically pleasing, and doing it over and over and over again. This is not just about a big premiere. This is not just about, hey, we are the hot new thing this week. How many different restaurants open in this city that are the thing 1 week and then they're gone 6 months from there? Constantly, right? But what are the things that have staying power? Excellence over time. The reason the Dodgers and the Lakers are at one spot, and Kevin Demoff talked about them as well, we'll get to that one coming up in just a little bit, is they've been here for 50 plus years in both of their cases. And really, almost without exception, those 50-year windows have had very, very few dry spots. It is an incredible combination of sustained excellence and time. And that he's saying that time takes time, right? You need the time to go by, to build fan base, to turn that 10-year-old kid who's becoming a Rams fan tonight, the Super Bowl night, NFC Championship night, when Aaron Donald has a big night, when Matthew Stafford has a big night, Cooper Kupp is his favorite player. That 10-year-old becomes a 15-year-old, becomes a 20-year-old, becomes a guy that can buy season tickets, that can be a guy that can go into the game, that can all of a sudden bring his own kids. And guess what's happening? You got generational Rams fans. The Rams left for 22 years, all right? I'm in a spot where I grew up in this city, and I was a Rams fan as a kid. And when they left, I kind of, okay, I'm not going to follow them to St. Louis. I'm not a St. Louis Rams fan. I'm a Los Angeles Rams fan. So when they came back, it was very easy for me to jump back on. So the time thing for me, I've already put in the time. But for new people, it just takes exactly that time. What's the other half of the equation? The other half of the equation is sustained excellence. And this is what's so exciting. The Rams have been nothing short of excellent since they've returned. 6 seasons, 4 of them by any measure successful, 2 of them wildly successful, and 2 Super Bowl appearances, and maybe even a Super Bowl championship coming up here in a matter of 10 days or so. In a 4-year period of window, a 5-year window with your head coach that is Super Bowl, maybe Super Bowl championship, playoffs, and 9-7. That's excellence. It's not over a decade. It's not over a couple of decades. But to hear Kevin Demoff talk about it, that's what it takes. If you're a Rams fan, you know what I heard? We're not done. We're not going to stop. We didn't say, hey, we gave you a Super Bowl team a couple of times in 4 years. Come on out, fill up the place. We're done here. We can go on the ebbs and flows of a normal NFL team, right? You're good a couple of years, you're bad a couple of years. You kind of slide up and down. And if you're really lucky, you're the Steelers and you stay pretty good for forever, basically. If you're the Patriots, maybe you catch lightning in a bottle. Head coach, sound familiar, the right quarterback, and you can keep this thing running for a really long time. But what they're saying is the reason they went all in, the reason they went and got Jalen Ramsey, the reason they went and got Von Miller and Odell Beckham Jr. and Matthew Stafford and all these picks and paid Todd Gurley and paid Aaron Donald and even paid Jared Goff and moved up to get Jared Goff, all of these things, they're all in. They're making moves to sustain excellence. They're making moves to produce a product that will be good now, that will be good a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. I'm not saying Aaron Donald is going to be holding down the A gap 10 years from now, but they're going to do whatever they can. They're going to move heaven and earth to try to find the next guy that can hold that down for 5 years, 8 years, whatever it is. They realize that if you get stagnant here, if you don't give excellence, if you don't have a state-of-the-art facility, if you don't have something iconic like Dodger Stadium, we'll go do other things. Judge us all you want, right? This is LA. This is what we do. We like it. Cool. We got our full attention. It's good. It's good. Seat's good. Yep. Game time experience is good. Get a beer pretty. Okay, cool. I'm in. They're not very good. Okay. I might give you one. I might give you two. And if you had Laker success and Dodger success, you get a little more runway along the way. But to hear Kevin Demoff talk about this is terrific news. This means they're going to continue to go into free agency, pursue trades. How often do you hear a trade in the NFL? Almost never, unless it's involving the Rams and they're picking up some huge name like Jalen Ramsey or Dante Fowler or Von Miller or Odell Beckham Jr. They're all in on this. And it's not just because, hey, we're back in LA. We need to make a splash. Hey, we're opening SoFi Stadium. We need to make a splash. Hey, we've got a window here where we can get Matthew Stafford. We need to make a splash. No, they realize that this is a product of long-term success, multi-decade success. They're not going to win 12 games every year. But what I'm hearing from him is we're going to be committed to winning year after year after year, embedded in the community year after year after year. Just a fantastic news from him. So I want to play you one more right here with him talking about getting on the same level as the Lakers and Dodgers.
I absolutely believe that we can be at the level the Dodgers and the Lakers have been and continue to be. But those teams have been decades of success and championships and building a fan base, building a deep multicultural fan base, stars, legends, Hall of Famers, and building on consistency. The next 2 weeks are important, but so is 2022 and so is 2023.
And there it is right there. Decade after decade, year after year, star after star, impact guy after impact guy, right? Fernando Valenzuela hands it off to Oral Hershiser, hands it off to Clayton Kershaw, hands it off to Walker Buehler, whoever is coming next, right? Go back to Kareem, to Magic, to Shaq, to Kobe, to LeBron. This is how it works. One guy hands it off to the next, and everybody stays happy, and that's what the Rams are doing. So when they're back here, it's going to be Aaron Donald giving it to Cooper Kupp, who gives it to the next guy who we don't even know who it is yet, giving it to the guy after that. That is what this team can do. That is what only this team can do because of the market, because of their willingness to go all in, because of the pockets of the ownership. It is just a terrific setup that the Rams have right now.